Hello everybody, and welcome. Welcome to another Monster Hunter video. Hope you guys are doing well today. My name is Ristretto, and I'm back with a little bit more Monster Hunter Wilds today. I've progressed a little further in low rank's story, haven't gone too far yet, but before pushing onward, finishing low rank, getting to high rank, anything like that, I did want to take a moment and just kind of appreciate some of these low rank Apex monsters. Might record hunts for other monsters too, but today I specifically wanted to go out and hunt the apex of the Windward Plains, Rey Dau. And I specifically wanted to get to do so with heavy bowgun. When we last left off, I just made an Uthduna heavy bowgun, and since then I've done a few different hunts with heavy bowgun and light bowgun. And so today I figured I'd go out and do HBG versus Rey Dau and see how things go. Now they've changed bowguns quite a bit in this game. And I'll talk a little bit about that as we get into the hunt here, but they still are quite a bit about preparation, so we're going to go ahead and prepare ourselves for this upcoming hunt, first by eating some food, and then I'll show you guys the gear I'm going to be using in the tent. Done this matchup once or twice, shouldn't be too much of a problem, but I think it's kind of a fun heavy bowgun matchup, and so we're gonna give it a shot. Yum. All right, into the tent we go. I'm going to be using, let's see, I'm going to be using the Iron Assault 1, so it has 120 raw, and we're going to be using it with, let's see, does it show my mods here? I'll just go to the customized bowgun menu. We're going to be using it with Pierce Ammo Powder, which gives us stronger piercing shots. We're primarily picking this gun for its large pierce clip and its freeze ammo clip. We're going to choose a standard mode upgrade because we don't really need more than 6 pierce shots. 6 is plenty. But standard mode upgrade should boost all of our shots when we're in standard mode, I do believe. And then for when we're not in standard mode, I have Wyvern Heart Ignition and Wyvern Blast, although I think I'm going to switch over to Wyvern Piercer. I've tried out Wyvern Piercer a few times. I actually like it quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and use Wyvern Piercer and Wyvern Blast rather than Wyvern Heart or Wyvern Counter. All right. Haven't quite figured out how the ammo menu works. It just feels like you just click over here and it says, would you like all of the ammos? And you say yes. There doesn't seem to really be a way to restock one or the other or put some away. Yeah. A little confused by that, but whatever. If it just lets you take all the ammos, whatever, so be it. Now, it being a nice sunny day here in the Windward Plains, I don't think we're going to have a Rey Dau out on the map, not in low rank. But I think our pal Alma over here can help us with that. Our hunter just emerges from the wind chimes. Hello, I would like a Rey Dau, please. Oops, I hope I departed from this camp. I meant to. I forgot to change the little menu for it. It'll be slightly immersion breaking if we're just back at base camp. We're just back at base camp. That's lame. Supposed to embark from our camp. All right, so off we go. So heavy bowgun. I'm more of a blade master than a gunner across the whole series. I've played quite a bit of the series games, and in the old games especially, I'm a pretty big fan of the guns, but I'm still maybe a little more comfortable with the blade master weapons. In all of 5th generation, so Monster Hunter World and its expansion, and Monster Hunter Rise and its expansion, I never really, clicked with the guns super hard. But so far, I don't mind them here in Wilds. They've made some changes, one of which being that normal, pierce, and spread are all infinite. You don't need to worry about running out of those ammunitions. And also, your gun, it doesn't fire like Pierce 1 and Pierce 2. It's just what level is it? It's level 2. There's no level 1 or level 2. It's just what level can you fire? And from what I've seen, the different levels don't seem to be quite as different as they used to be, at least from the brief amount of play I've had with the guns. So they've kind of simplified some of the core tenets of it, and they've definitely simplified some of the alternative ammunitions. In the other games, some builds would revolve around firing lots of slicing or lots of sticky, and that is not the case here, as they've made some changes to the armor skills and how you can or cannot affect the recoil of the gun, that kind of thing. So the bowguns feel a little more simple overall, but I don't necessarily mind having to just focus mainly on one of the raw damage ammunitions and then an elemental or a few other alternative shots you get to fire for a little while, that feels okay to me. Heavy bowgun specifically gets a perfect guard, which changes its playstyle just a little bit because you can block something like that. I didn't have to there. He was off the mark. And again, he was off the mark there. But after a perfect block, it does let me reposition, which I found pretty helpful for when I'm firing Pierce. The critical distance for Pierce is pretty far away. Ouch. There we go. I think some evade extender wouldn't go to waste on a set like this too. I may eventually, if I'm running Pierce on heavy bowgun, slot that in just to give myself a little bit of extra mobility. Now he does that wounding thing. After he's fired off some shots, he'll vent out of his head like that, and you can pop a wound. We'll do that eventually. This game seems to really want you to fire on the wounds a lot, and so far I've just kind of been treating them as like a cherry on top. Like if I feel like getting an opening or breaking a specific part, I'll go for that, especially when it's part of a move like that Rey Dau is actually doing, like after he's fired a shot. Then he vents like that and you can wound his head. I like that more than just wounding the random ones that show up. But I haven't been popping them every time they show up. It feels like the game wants you to do that a little too frequently for my liking, at least. I don't need that many flinches, I don't need that many downs. I've made a lot of Rey Dau's weapons in low rank already, so I don't necessarily need more of his parts. I just really like his hunt, and so I wanted to get to show it off with heavy bowgun before moving on. We're gonna try and break both of his wings in his head. We are out of range for a free shot. There we go. Elemental ammunition also pierces a little bit now, which I quite like. So, I don't know, all in all, I don't know, not a hardcore bowgun user, but I'm pretty happy with this game's bowguns so far. They feel pretty nice to me. Ouch. Kind of tricky to block some of his attacks here in this area in the nest because they're aftershocks in a way that can trip you up if you're going for the counter. For it if we can. Nope, I missed it. I think there was another wound there though, so it's gonna still pop. Oh well. Some of my shots in my clip are a little stronger than others, which is a bit of an odd mechanic that's new to this game. They added a skill where basically the 4th and 6th shots that you fire are stronger than the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Which is interesting, and I kind of like it. I like that it incentivizes kind of finding slightly longer openings or just not constantly reloading. In the old games, when reloads took longer, it was very important for you to mind when you reloaded so that you didn't get caught out reloading and get hit, kind of like healing in the old games. So for them to add just a little bit of consciousness in terms of like, okay, I've fired off 2 or 3 shots, I should not reload or sheath, instead I should try and find an opening to finish this clip. I kind of like that dynamic. So, I don't know. It feels to me like they've taken bowguns sort of back to basics in this game. They're still very strong. I've still seen some speedruns where they're like melting a late game monster in like a minute or two. Which is par for the course with bowguns. You can be very precise in terms of what ammunition you're firing and what type of damage you're putting out into the different weak spots on the monster. So it doesn't surprise me that even with fewer overall options, you can still do some pretty crazy damage. Was lucky I blocked there. If you've used shield heavy bowgun in the old games, the sort of auto block that existed back then does still exist in this game, where basically as long as you're not shooting or reloading, the guard will automatically come up if you're facing the monster's attack. And that's still the case here. Ooh, I thought I was gonna get hit by that. That's still the case here, but you have to tap triangle and circle if you want a perfect block, where you get to reposition afterwards. That's one wing broken. A lot of the time you can just walk away from those projectiles. Yeah, I don't know. So far, how much I've played with light bowgun and heavy bowgun, I've actually found myself preferring heavy bowgun. Just a little bit. Ouch. The guard makes it a little more of an active experience, where light bowgun, I don't know, it's still very active, you're still running around, but I like heavy bowgun, feeling a little slower and being able to respond to the monster's attacks a little more directly. It's kind of cool. Woo. Something I'm not used to yet is which button will draw and reload versus just draw. Need to practice that a little better. Off the mark on that perfect guard. This is gonna be a big shot. We're gonna be okay. Imagine that wing is about ready to break. Early on my perfect block. Alrighty. And after him we go. Oops, I meant to switch to a regular potion. Oh well. I've done this fight enough times now where I think we'll be okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to show my armor. It's the same as the last video. So 11 defense, not much in the way of damage skills, aside from the tetrad shot that we have from the heavy bowgun itself. Got a cheeky little flinch on him there. Ouch. We'll take the wound that time. Yeah, those are definitely my favorite types of wounds to go for, the kind where it's like only specific to a certain move. I think those are fun to aim for. I have found out that those moves, specifically a move where a monster does a move and then presents a special wound that you can hit, those are called weak points, and they're actually in the hunter's notes. It identifies like what part of the monster's body is going to become a weak point when it's presented like that. I was a little confused about that because weak point in the hunter's notes could probably also refer to just like where the monster is weak, where they take good damage, but it's not referring to like a hit zone value. It's just telling you where they're going to present a special weak zone like that for a wound. Which is neat. I like that. So far it looks like most monsters, if not all monsters, have those, which I would not have expected at first. Rey Dau does a particularly good job of showing this mechanic off. After that big railgun shot, he'll vent his head open for a little bit. I think he's already weak. Heavy bowgun's pretty strong. Low rank monsters, not so strong. But it's been fun to get to battle against him out in the sandstorm for a little bit. Or out in the sand tide for a little bit, I should say. I'm recording this in the morning after having done some story progression the previous night. Nice way to start the day. Hope you guys are enjoying playing Wilds, whether you're still going through the story or whether you're starting to get into the collecting and grinding of things towards the end. Just hope you're having fun. I'm looking forward to joining y'all at the end. Alrighty. Now, we have yet to use our special ammunition at all. I think we're going to do that. So, there's one that's a giant magazine clip, but the one I like is basically just like cluster bombs. I like these. As like a fun, like, I don't know, I'm not going to be using these most of the time. It's just kind of like a fun way to wake the monster up. Almost like a clip of sticky or a clip of slicing. If that's not your main ammunition, it's just something you fire off a little bit to get one KO. I like the clusters there. Try and get like one part break or something. Oof. Oof. Rey Dau. Rey Dau. Almost got me. He didn't like what I had to say about low-ranked monsters not being strong. One more for the road. There we go. And that was Rey Dau with heavy bowgun. Yeah, I find myself enjoying how the bowguns play in this game, which is nice. There's also something where I just never got used to how heavy bowguns roll felt in Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. It felt like oddly slower. Not just like slower to come out or like slower to complete. It just felt weirdly slow. I never got used to it. But this game's roll feels nicer, and I'm grateful for it. Also grateful for Mr. Rey Dau here. Let's give him a bow if we can. Do we have a bow in this game? I forget. Looks like we might not. Well, I hope they add a bow later on. I like getting to bow to monsters when I'm done. A respectful end. I guess we'll just give him a bow. I was gonna give him a wave, but we'll just end like this, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be back with some more Monster Hunter pretty soon. Until then, hope you have a blessed week. Happy hunting, and cheers. I'll see you guys again soon.